17 years. If our site is chosen to take, the client has chosen to take site forward, they have been developed.
Maybe something happens in the future then on these sites, if there are health implications to people living on these sites. I mean, I don't think people who would buy these houses shouldn't get the go-ahead, would get a very clear picture of what's in the area. When I bought my house, it said that there was a hazardous landfill and an inert landfill. LOM as it's unlicensed, there's nothing. You've got open cast as it's unlicensed, there's nothing. There's a gas works, also heavily contaminated, and there's a stretch of the Cromford Canal, heavily contaminated. People aren't being allowed to make an informed choice.
See, what's of interest here is if LSO1 is toxic, which we all agree it is, geographically and topographically, that site is above the rugby club site. So obviously poo goes downhill. So the truth is, in a 100-year or 100,000-year weather event where we get a landslip, what's going to happen? Because I live in a house and I've viewed LSO1 for 10 years, and I believe it's physically getting bigger. Now I questioned a prominent local politician, and he told me, oh, the road on the top's sinking. Well, why would the road sink? But moreover, it's physically getting bigger. I can't understand how it can be allowed to happen.
So in the instance of that tip, if it is getting bigger and it's gas and it explodes, like happened at Gloucester not far from here.
2 years ago.
Pardon?
32 years ago.
32 years ago. It happens. So who is responsible then? You know, you can't guarantee that this site is safe. It's impossible.
Do we know the depth? I'd like to just clarify in a bit more detail the depth of the the depth of the made ground on the hill side. I know it varies, but is it be great if the planner could just clarify what the depths are?
The answer is not really, because there were contaminants that shouldn't have necessarily been in an inert landfill found at very shallow depths and also at deeper depths. I mean, some of these dioxin PCB type materials were found at 0.6 metres, 1.1 metres, others were found deeper. I mean, they go on to about 17.5, I think it might be one even deeper than that. It's all in that table, but I mean, essentially, there is really, there isn't really been cover engineered as such as you would understand it. At the time that this was done, that was not what was done. So what's been done is the site's been levelled out for the rugby field to be put onto it, grassed over. But the idea of an engineering cover, as you would understand the landfill today, or any kind of containment, that's not what happens. Equally, the way that material was tipped is the point I've made. They were looking for drums, but drums were just tipped. They were not buried.
Okay.
Just to specifically respond to the point in terms of the depth of Mayground along that northern boundary, which is closest to LSO1, and borehole 9 is probably the most relevant, which is sort of central to the northern boundary. That depth of Mayground we have now site was 21 metres. On the sports pitches, seem that they put down kind of a clay colour when they actually created the sports pitches to create the level. And just look at it, it's about 1 to 1.5 metres of sort of subsoil, if you like, for sort of the sports pitches, and then you've got the sort of deep made ground to about 21 metres in borehole 9.
Okay, so 20 metres or just over on the appeal site itself.
Yeah, basically it was tipped to the base of the quarry, so when the quarry was worked out, the Mayground basically comes off the base of the quarry to the
But do we know what the depth of made ground is on LSO1?
Very shallow in places. Probably not even a metre. Just as an example as to how deadly the dioxin that we're talking about is, the other site that is documented at Morton, where it was tipped, on on one particular occasion, there was a tanker carrying the dioxin contaminated material from the coalite plant. It came through the fields, it took the wrong turn and came through the fields between two farms, the Dainsmore farm on Mickley Lane. The farmer also worked as well as run the farm. And when he came home that afternoon, everything on the farm was dead. His dogs, horses, cattle, everything, and the adjacent farm. Now that tanker was buried entirely in that hole. And they got compensation for it, it was all understood. That the son of the farmer is still there now. Now that is documented. So that is how deadly that dioxin is.
Right, sorry, where was the tanker?
That was at Moulton,
Yeah.
near Streatham, on the way to Plancroft.
Effectively en route to somewhere, probably a
It
large.
was en route to Morton Open Cast.
Just for information inspecting, look at the public health reports over the last 5 or 10 years. Some of those the real black spot on all sorts of cancer, etc. Probably worth you having a look at that.
Well, I don't have I only have access to documents that have been submitted to me as part of this appeal. So that's you know, I don't look any wider than that. So I just rely on.
Just for information, it'd be very interesting to have a look at.
Yeah, but
With what's been said, you know, what
yeah.
I just said, I think.
I've noted the point you made, but I don't have access to that document that you're referring to.
Could Amber Valley send it over? Yeah. Would you accept it?
Well, I can only really accept documents that are submitted here today.